What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review, and we're back in the old space for now, and like I said, in the process of moving, so the more complex reviews are a bit more limited because I'm really living out of a box of toys. Most of my stuff is in storage, and consequently don't have too much to review, so that's why I've been getting a lot of office reviews. But today we're going to look at the BSC-01 Bold Forms Lone Wolf, otherwise known as Motormaster. And yeah, this guy's interesting. So before we go further, let's start with the instruction manual. And if you watched the unboxing video of this, whether I put it up, it's nice that they give you a list of what all this stuff is, corresponding to this. And then we get to the actual instructions. And what's weird about it, I couldn't figure this out. I went 1, 2, 3. I'm like, how did we get there? No. 3 goes down to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You know, so like I don't really know who does it that way. Yeah, it's pretty terrible. And on top of that, these instructions are terrible. They do not tell, you know, exactly where the legs need to go. The other thing I want to note is that this guy has a problem, and we will see it when we get to the Menasor mode. I'm probably not keeping this guy, but wanted to do the review. He's kind of an oddity, so let's just get on with the review here. If you saw the unboxing, if I posted it by now, you saw this kind of all fell apart, and it's because he's pretty loose. Like, he's very panely here, which is not good. On the bottom, you can store his sword, and you can store what the instructions refer to as small gun hilt. There is no pieces to make a gun. I assume it's probably something that would come with one of the other toys, maybe like Dead End or Breakdown. I have no idea. But they call this the small gun hilt. All I know it does is it fits in here and helps hold the sword in place underneath the truck, which I think is terrible. Yeah, so you don't really need this, and here's the sword. We'll get to that later. By removing this, which is my preferred way to do it, you can actually take this and slide it back a little, and the truck will be a little bit less far from the cab, which I actually think looks better than, whoops, this extended outlook like that. The back of the truck does open. You do actually get, as a chest shield accessory, a little roller car guy. He has painted on wheels, nothing actually works, but you know what? He stores right inside that trailer, pretty nice, and no real problems there. But let's get to the actual real problems. Here is a Combiner Wars figure. No way that's going in there. The scale of this truck is just completely off where Combiner Wars is concerned, at least where the cars are concerned. Rolling, he does okay. Not the greatest rolling, but he does it. There's no articulation on the truck section. So yeah, what you see is what you get, and you can see just these panels just kind of fall apart. He really suffers from being too many panels, and then because of this hinge, the truck just flops down. But overall, I mean, it's undoubtedly Motormaster. This is that Kenworth semi. And, I mean, he looks good. I really can't complain. I actually think he looks better than the Combiner Wars one, as if that's terribly difficult to accomplish. But, I mean, this is a G1 Motormaster. This is most definitely not, but you can see where scaling with your Combiner Wars cars are concerned, this guy's the way to go. That said, this guy's probably about as out of scale with your limbs as your G1 version was, so if you could stomach that on a shelf, then I suspect you can handle this one. So let's get this guy transformed here. We're gonna start by taking this off, and let's talk about this real quick. This folds out, it folds around, it has nowhere to go in any of the other modes as far as I see. Like I said, the instructions are lacking, so maybe there's something it's intending to do. I didn't realize it was actually supposed to hold the sword until I saw it in some picture somewhere. So yeah, take this with a grain of salt. I have no idea where this goes, if anywhere. So we're left with this, and he's pretty well engineered. It's just that he's not constructed terribly well. So we take these panels and we flip these down, and we're going to open this up, and he does squeak a whole lot, which doesn't sound really nice. And we're going to split these like this. And it's about here that the instructions completely fail you on what to do next. What you need to do, and one thing I wanted to note, is that you can flip these wheels around to the other side if you want to extend them out, or like this, they just kind of clip in on each of these tabs. But anyway, what you want to do is, there's this track that goes like, almost like a J around here. These come off pretty easy. They're really not tabbed in any meaningful way. But what you want to do is take these and flip these all the way back like so. And we're gonna have to mess with this a little to make sure we got it right. But it should look kind of like this. And the front of the truck is where this is kind of a fairly weak toy. This little air compressor for your air brakes just kind of pops off. But we want something like this basically. And then we're gonna take the truck here and we're gonna rotate that so it fits in like this, and we can just kind of make adjustments on this back wheel piece here, so we can try to have it straight up and down just like that. And there we go, we got one foot done, and we'll just take this wheel and fold it on in like so. So hopefully you understood that. We'll come back here, bring this around the little J track like so. And it's difficult to do without actually pushing on the bar that's supposed to rotate. And then since all these screws are just terribly tight, it's difficult to manipulate the front of the truck. So as we got that, fold this on in and up to make his foot, fold the wheel on in. And there we go. We got Motormaster's feet. And that looks really good to me so far. As we come up to the top here, I can never remember quite which way it's supposed to go. I believe we're supposed to flip this like that. Yes, this is correct. And we take these and we just kind of pull them up and out like this. And then you can leave them extended, or you can bring them back in, whichever one you prefer. Take this, fold the little chest panels on down, like so. Coming down to the hands here, or I should say the shoulder flaps, bring this down and bring it like that. And like that, you can fold these just so they're out of the way. Just bring them up, which is not terribly elegant, let's be honest. And these don't click as far as I've seen in any way to secure the side to side, which would have been nice. So we got that. We'll lock these in place again because apparently somehow I unlocked them. There we go. And we take this back piece here, fold it all the way down. It clips in the center, and then it clips like this. You can see we got Motormaster's head in a nice box here. No complaints there. Elongate the elbow here, open this up, and do your best to flip the hands out like so, and then flip them around. And the head box doesn't stay closed very easy, closed very easy. So take that. And these hands, what's interesting is the hand is not actually articulated, but the way this panel is pinned, if you open it too much, you actually block access to the hand. So kind of weird that they made that decision. But anyway, so here we go. We've got Motormaster in his robot mode, and there's one extra thing you can do if you really want to. I don't like how it looks. I think this looks fine, but if you want to make your Motormaster a little bit on the skinnier side, you can take these panels, and they do fold down just in the most difficult way possible, and kind of make skirt armor, which does make him a little skinnier, but personally I don't really care if he has the flat box. And there you go. There's Motormaster in his robot mode. He can of course hold the sword if you really want him to. I think that's the best accessory because, surprise surprise, he doesn't have a gun except for small gun hilt, which I don't know, doesn't seem to go anywhere, like I said. in his little bag of accessories I've got here. They were kind enough to provide you with some articulated hands, semi-articulated at least. The fingers are combined, and for that all you gotta do is just pop the hand off and put this back in place, hopefully without everything swiveling on you, which is a problem. There we go. And you've got a articulated hand with very loose fingers, so I'm okay with leaving the combined knuckle in there. So let's talk articulation on this guy. The head, the whole box is on a rotation joint, which is very nice. You can have him looking in different directions. No up and down on that, but that's okay. Shoulders, you saw you have the up and down. You have a 360. You have a elbow swivel, a double jointed elbow for some good range down there. Coming down to the leg, squeaky, but swivel. Swivel at the thigh, in and out at the thigh, double jointed knee, so that's pretty good. And then coming down to the foot, a little bit of motion on the front of the truck, I suppose, to give you a little bit of an ankle tilt, but it honestly doesn't work because the rest of the truck is not tilting. But overall, I mean, it's pretty good articulation, and honestly, this guy looks good whether you have these skirt panels hanging down or up. They look worse in the prototype pictures than they do in person, that's for sure. So let's go ahead and do some size comparisons with this guy, and we'll bring out the Combiner Wars Motormaster first. Definitely way less posable, definitely very awkward proportions on this guy, and definitely way smaller. So yeah. Don't really care for this guy, and I do very much like the G1 aesthetic that this guy has going on. So let's bring out what actually really matters here, and here is the actual limb robots. And I think that this looks pretty cool. I can't deny it. Like, this is a really nice looking set altogether. They certainly look way better with this Motormaster than they did when he was in his vehicle mode. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. So we're going to go ahead and skip to the part, skip him back to truck mode to show how to get him into combined mode. If you are curious about the transformation to get him from robot back to truck, I'll put that at the end of this video. Alright, to put him in his combined mode, we start by taking the back of the truck off yet again, and we start by doing pretty much what we needed to do to get him into robot mode, which is undo this piece here. Split these apart like this, except we're going to do something a little bit different here. We're going to take this and we're going to compress it all the way in like so, which is easier said than done. There we go. Just like that. Now, I always kind of forget how we're supposed to do the back piece here for these legs, because it is terribly difficult to figure out. It should be that we rotate these back around to the rear portion here, and then we take this part of the truck and bring it all the way up. It should just barely fit in there, and then we have to open up this panel, and I can't quite figure out what they want you to do with it. I just leave it like that, and then I rotate. Then you have to rotate this part of the truck in. You can put this in if you want, and I believe it was with the wheels sticking out the back like this. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure that that's how you want it. So take this, bring it all the way around to the back again, work the truck all the way around here, which, like I said, the biggest problem really is the way these panels kind of work. So take this, fold it open and down, take this, fold it in, fold the wheel in, and make sure this little panel is out of the way, because it definitely holds up the side of the truck from transforming properly if you don't pay attention to it. And it definitely falls off very easy. It's just a teeny tiny little ball joint here. Virtually impossible. Let me get this back in and I'll come right back. Okay, so while we were gone I did check, and it is correct to have these wheels sitting like this on the outside rear portions, just like that. And I suppose you could move these little combiner pieces down just a little to give you a little bit more room here. This is not very good on the back, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure how you make it better per se to make it look like this, but yeah, that doesn't work very well in my opinion. Anyway, we'll come back to the top here. We flip this thing around. We flip this chest piece down, revealing this, and this is where mine has the big problem. No Menasor face. Yeah, I'll put a picture in to show you what that looks like, but as you can see, subject to QC problems here. So, we have them as far as the body really needs to go. Now we just kind of need to attach extra pieces onto him. So once we have all this in place, we can add the accessories. We'll start by putting the chest piece on, which helps kind of clamp a little of the top here together, just like so. And we take our little roller car and we attach him just like that. It looks very nice. We come down to this crotch piece. This just tabs right on into the front here, bulking up the front of his legs a little bit. And now we get to the combiner ports. Now these are unique to each part. I'm a little hesitant to put these on first. I'd rather attach them to the actual combiner limb because they're difficult to work with. They made these little clippy tabs to make them clip in, which is entirely unnecessary. So here we go, we got our breakdown here, and put this in. It clips in nice and solid. It's not going to come off, but it's really difficult to get off. I find you have to turn it to the side and take it off, and then kind of slide it using the parts of breakdown here, or any of them for that matter, to kind of work against the direction you have to push it. So it was really unnecessary to make the clip given the situation, but that's how it works. So we got that. We'll go ahead and take Wild Rider here and give him his leg connector just like that. Coming to the arm pieces, just like they were on the Combiner Wars. Your socket is at the top, clips in like so. And of course we have dead end, or drag strip, same exact thing. So once we have this like this is where I'm more comfortable putting this on. Just plugs right into the hole down there, which I assume is also what their bots, should they ever release, actually will end up using. But there we go, we have the 2 feet here, and I will say, ridiculously back heavy. Even without all the bots on him, he already wants to just kind of fall over. I don't know if the Perfect Effect feet would help that at all, but I mean, look how badly he's hanging backwards as a result. I mean, yeah, if there's one big flaw with him, it's the way that he kind of hangs back. So we'll take this and we'll just plug this right in on the sides here. There we go. And we plug this one in on this side. And there we go, we got our very faceless Menasor. And you know what? I think it looks pretty good, even with the Combiner Wars limbs. He still suffers from the fact that the Combiner Wars limbs do go down to his knees, but that's kind of a problem with combiners in general, I suppose. Sorry, my tripod actually started losing its grip. You can, of course, give them the sword, but if you ask me, the sword kind of looks ridiculous and tiny in these massive hands. I actually think the one that came with Combiner Wars ends up working better because at least it's just a little bit bigger. Not fantastically bigger, but you know, it is what it is. Your range of motion on this guy is pretty much the same as a Combiner Wars figure because he's made of mostly Combiner Wars. So, before we get on out of here, let's go ahead and put a Combiner Wars Defensor next to him. Yeah, you can see he's pretty good size, about the same size overall as Combiner Wars, but just looks so much better than this thing does. It looks like a cohesive set, even over like the Defensor torso, which I think is, you know, at least top 2 at this point. So, yeah, I have very mixed feelings about this guy. First off, I definitely don't like that I've got a QC issue that my Menasaure's head, or face, is missing. It's just kind of a ridiculous oversight to not have any face there. Yeah. I think this guy's also priced just a little bit too high. Understandably, this is Bold Form's first endeavor, so it probably was fairly expensive to come up with the tooling and all that stuff and the engineering costs. Too expensive though. For what it is, it's too expensive. The engineering is fairly solid, but since the plastic is not like your Fans project type quality or anything like that, you get a lot of little stress marks and missed pins and stuff like that, and QC errors, frankly. I don't know if we'll end up seeing any more from Bold Forms as a result of this thing. At its current price, I have to say, don't bother. He's too fiddly, the panels don't line up, the transformation can be a little bit difficult, he's super back heavy, but the problem is I really like this guy, you know, like I enjoy the truck mode, I enjoy the combined mode, I enjoy the individual mode. He's really good, I mean, minus the missing face and everything. So kind of my recommendation is, if you're interested in this guy, see if you can find him online. I think somewhere under the $100 mark is the way to go. I'm personally kind of hoping to find a BBTS clearance on this guy, or you know, anywhere that's clearing him out for a price under $100, and I think I'll bite. But from the person I purchased this from, I'm just going to take advantage of their return policy for the defect, because he's just not worth the cost. So yeah, this is T2RX6. If you guys are going to check out the transformation back, just stay tuned. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for being patient while I'm in the moving process. We have to go back to some office reviews and, you know, easier reviews for a little while again, but I definitely wanted to get this guy done. So thank you guys again, and I will see you next week. Alright, so let's get him back to his truck mode here. We'll start by removing the sword, open this thing up, put his hand away, compress this piece on down, compress this piece down, open it up, put the hand away. We'll come to the back, flip it open, and bring that up. And this does not lock very well in. It's got little tabs, but nothing super substantial. You can bring these little chest flaps back on up here, extend these around, and bring these on in. We can compress that. We'll flip the wheel out and flip this guy back on up. Flip it up just like that. So we got that going on. We'll close these panels back up, and then we can give the arms the quote-unquote final compression, which I say that because since things are so wobbly, I'm sure we're gonna have to make adjustments again later. But there you go, so everything's all lined up. Coming down to the legs here, we'll start by pulling the truck out, bring this piece all the way back down and around like this, pull the truck out, bring it back down and around. And I always like to do this part because it's very easy to forget. Compress these legs on in, and then what you're gonna do, and see, this is me kind of forgetting, we take this and rotate this back on up like so. And you do have this little slot here in the crotch you have to accommodate, so make sure you get it right. Ugh, horrible. And if you have it all lined up, you should be able to, at least at this point, compress the trucks together. They'll slide out of their thing apparently, and compress these leg bits together. And now all we have to really do is take the trucks apart here and put them back in their slot here, like so, and like so, and just kind of compress all this stuff like that. And like I said, I like my semi's wheels to be towards the back. Just kind of make sure that we're running a straight line here. Bring the wheels down. Reconnect everything in the front again, including the air compressor, or tank I should say. There we go. So we got it mostly done. We just take the back of the truck, put it up at the top, and bring it on down, and you will have to kind of mess with these wheels to make sure that it all tabs in properly to hold it all together, which is, this back piece is like definitely the weakest part of this toy. But there you go. So if you guys watch this whole thing, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next week.